Hey there, everybody, and thanks for joining us on another ConnectSMART webinar. This is Jen Coffey from the Pro Services team, and today's webinar is about our mobile dashboards, how you can access and optimize your dashboards for mobile devices. I am going to go ahead and take a peek at our agenda today. So what we're going to cover today is we're going to go over the prerequisites, which are pretty straightforward, and a quick overview of what goes on when you access your dashboards from a mobile device and your options for doing so, the limitations that are inherent in viewing dashboards designed for large display monitors and TVs on mobile devices, the associated documentation and reference materials that you can reference after the webinar and to guide you through some of these steps, and that's on our doc site. And then we're going to do a quick walkthrough just to show you some of the things kind of in the wild on real dashboards and how they actually look once you make the changes we're going to discuss today. At the end, we will have a Q&A session, but if you have any questions in the meantime, we are paying attention, so just raise your hand or go ahead and type into chat, and we will try to address it as we go. So the prerequisites are pretty straightforward. It just assumes that you've got the latest version of ConnectSMART installed and you are going to be using a mobile device with a web browser. We're not going to be covering installing ConnectSMART, building dashboards, configuring gadgets. We do have a number of other recorded webinars that do cover those things. So if you need some help with that, do check it out. But this does assume that you've kind of made it through all of that. You've got dashboards that you want to go ahead and access. So the quick overview of viewing our dashboards on mobile. Step one, there is no app to download. There is, you're going to just access it in the browser that you have on the device. And that includes things like phones, tablets, Surfaces, iPads, Android tablets, all of those. And let's see. So then we're going to share some tips and tricks to optimize your existing dashboards for mobile viewing. We will create mobile dashboards, or we'll give you some guidance on creating mobile dashboards from scratch and also configuring your dashboard URL to do the work for you. And that can control your dashboard's appearance and some other settings. So some of the limitations, things you can do, you can view your existing dashboards on mobile devices without changing a thing. You can use drill downs and open tickets in the browser. And you can also set up the dashboard URL to always launch your dashboard in dashboard only mode, hide the title, set the style and theme, without having to go and select those options after you've loaded the dashboard. There is a caveat. You cannot expect a dashboard that you display on a large TV or a huge monitor to look as good on an iPhone as it does on the wall. So just keep that in mind. You can always pull it up. It just might not look great. So we're going to give you some ideas on how you can modify your existing dashboards to optimize them for viewing, and also some guidance on the best ways to create them so that from scratch they are ready to go. Our website, our docs website, is full of these recordings that we've got here, and then everything we cover today is actually going to be on this webinar specific page. So any files we reference, links to documentation, those will all be there. And if you happen to miss any of our prior webinars, you can always navigate to our docs site and just go to the Train Your Team, browse training videos, or you can also go down here to the upcoming events. And this is where you will find our webinars. You can sort and search by when they aired, what the topics are. But this will be there as well. So if you think this is going to be valuable for somebody else, you can tell them to come check it out here. And if you missed any of these, by all means, come check them out. We've got a lot of good information there. So on to what you can do here with your mobile device. So as I mentioned, you can view your stuff on a mobile device without changing anything at all. So right now, if you have an existing dashboard, you can simply go open the browser on your mobile device, navigate right to your ConnectSMART URL. In our case, it's live.connectsmart.com. And for you, it'll probably be something similar, like KPI. Whatever your domain name is. We've seen stuff like that. And so then you would just log in just like you would on the browser or on a PC. And There we go. So here are some caveats. These dashboards look fine on the wall. They look great on a large monitor. They look fine on a widescreen TV. But in a vertical or portrait layout on a cell phone, they look pretty god-awful. So even when we rotate them, they still don't look that great. So this is why we are going to take a look at how you can make these look a little bit better. One thing I do want to highlight is you see that you've got the title, you've got our logo, you've got ConnectSMART dashboard at the top, and you've got your menu options off to the side there that are kind of also scrunching up this dashboard. That is what I'm talking about when we talk about the direct URLs and the URL parameters. These will actually control it to eliminate some of these items that we don't want to see. So one of the best practices we recommend using is using direct URLs. So save the URL as a bookmark on the phone or a mobile device that you're going to be using, and then use those URL parameters in that bookmark to optimize for mobile viewing. These we do have documented on the site. So if we just go to right here, that is going to take you straight to this, which is going to give you a nice cheat sheet to show you all the different options you've got for modifying the dashboard from the URL. And then a little bit later, I do have a sample one where you could essentially just swap out your URL and tweak the settings a bit, and you won't have to go and type it in yourself. So here we go. All right, and then if you've got any questions about how to do that, I do have a link in here that you can access on the site to just give you a quick overview of how to get those bookmarks on your home screen on an Android or iOS device. And here's just a screenshot of my dashboard bookmarked on my home screen. So best practices with the URL parameters. We do recommend that you set your dashboard style and theme to whatever it is that you prefer so that you don't have to go poking around in your mobile browser trying to set those. And also go ahead and set it to dashboard only mode. And that's just going to remove those menu items. You can also remove the title that's covered in the docs site that shows you the different URL parameters. And again, that link is right here. So the dashboard that we're going to take a look at in a moment, I have gone ahead and included the URL I have for it. And that's just so that you have an idea of, you can go ahead and swap out your URL, and it's already set with dashboard only enabled. The alert target is set to border, but if you wanted to change that, you could change it to alert or value. And then the style is set to thin. My theme is high contrast. And my dashboard name is referenced at the very end there. So technically, you could swap it out with your own information, and it'll save you a few steps. And I just want to show you what it looks like before and after applying those changes. So the left side is my before, where I just navigated directly to it, went to my ConnectSMART URL, logged in, navigated to that dashboard, and opened it up. On the right is where I've actually gone to the same exact dashboard, but I've actually configured it the way this URL is set up. And you see there's a very big difference in how it looks. So you've got much better visibility. You're not wasting a lot of screen real estate on menu items and things you don't need, titles, stuff of that nature. And it just looks a little cleaner, right, where I'm controlling my border and I'm not having it go ahead and change the background color. It's a little busy, especially on a phone. And does anybody have any questions right now before I go ahead and just show you a few things in the actual dashboard editor? Okay, so I am going to go ahead and pop out of here, and I'm going to go to my, whoops. So I will go to that. I am logged in, and all right, so here is that dashboard we were just looking at, and oops, so now you can't see it since I went to the home. Okay, so here's that dashboard we were just looking at and had the screenshots of it in the from my phone. And I'm going to go ahead and make it match what we've got there. So this is in thin, high contrast, and my background. Oops. I promise I have done this before. There we go. All right, so I've got my border set, I've got my value set with my alerts, and this is that. when you go ahead and set up a dashboard, though, things to keep in mind. Those earlier dashboards that we took a look at, that's not where it is. These are a bunch of work in progress, not really our production dashboards necessarily, but let's see. So this is one of the dashboards that we just took a look at. So this dashboard on the left is actually what it looks like on the phone. Keep that in mind. And here's what it looks like up on a monitor. And I mean, it looks much better on a monitor. It looks great on a monitor. But this is what I mean when you're going to want to go ahead and optimize something like this. So you've got a few options. You can go ahead and rearrange this, maybe drop some of these larger ones. Maybe these charts aren't that necessary, but if you want all these gauges, go ahead and make this a more vertical kind of dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and copy it and make some changes to it. I'm going to go ahead and drop my net change open close ratio because chances are if I'm running around on a train or I'm mobile for whatever reason, I'm probably not trying to look at trending information. I'm probably much more concerned about what's going on that needs my attention right now. And let's see, so I'm going to go ahead and drag these guys over here. And make this one a sort of a 4 gadgets wide. And if you have trouble with the layout, we do have a recording on configuring the layouts pretty easily. So it gives you some good pointers on how to do this without getting bogged down. So this is 4 wide, and I'm going to go ahead and change this. I'm going to go ahead and add dashboard only equals true. And that's going to go ahead and take it to dashboard only mode, which is what I'm going to want when I then go and email this link to myself to view on my phone. All right, so I'm sending that to myself. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up on my phone. All right, folks, note to self, if you're going to do a webinar on looking at mobile dashboards, keep your mobile device nearby. Don't leave it across the room. So I'm going to go ahead and get you this, just show you how that turns out on the phone. And I tried showing you this in BlueStacks, but it required a lot of changes to get the resolution to look anything like it would on a phone. So unfortunately, we're going to work with some screenshots. But I went ahead and got this guy. And okay. Okay, here we go. So I actually think it looks better when it's 3 wide. So I'm going to show you why I say that. Here we go. So as you can see, it's the layout's a little gross here with these big giant spaces. So I'm going to actually flip it around. But that's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to actually just play with it a bit, check it, see how it looks on your device. Now, when I rotate that same one, it looks fine. So depending on how I was going to display it on my phone, I might be okay with it being 4 wide. Might even be fine with it being wider than that. It's just really going to come down to what are you using to display it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like rotated. And I'm going to go ahead and take it out of dashboard only mode. And that makes it look much better on my screen, but here is that same dashboard, same phone, just rotated. And you can see the 4 wide looks just fine when we rotate it. So it's really just going to matter what you're looking at. So obviously looking at something on an iPhone versus, say, a Microsoft Surface is going to vary quite a bit. And also, again, with a Microsoft Surface or an iPad or one of the larger tablets, do you primarily use it in portrait or landscape? Those are going to be the considerations you're probably going to have the most of, and it might be worth indicating on your dashboard titles what they are, if they're better used horizontally or landscape and portrait, just to kind of keep things straight. So does anybody have any questions about this? We need to be a pretty quick webinar. There's not a ton to it, but is there anything we can cover, any questions we can ask, anything we can demonstrate related to viewing stuff on mobile devices? Doesn't look like it. So unless somebody yells, I'm going to go ahead and drop off this webinar and end it, and I'm going to go ahead and get this uploaded. So as I mentioned, if you have any questions about this in the future, you can always reference it or get to the recording. And that pretty much does it for me, folks. So last chance for any questions, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Okay, looks like that is it. So you guys have a great one. Thanks so much for joining us. And again, we have another one on Thursday. So hopefully we'll see you there. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.